Country. This is Moose Country. 100.1 Moose FM.
You're on the Moose. I'm your Bud the Dub, and I'm joined now by Chris Thorsteinson of Doc Walker. They've got a new single out that's been spinning on Moose FM for the past few weeks, and we're here to talk about that and lots of other things. Chris, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me. This is, living in the middle of the woods in western Manitoba. I can't believe that, we don't have a 15, 20-second delay.
Yeah, we did for a second, but we managed to fix that, luckily. So, Chris.
Yeah, well, I turned the generator up a little bit, so
you just added some better quality fuel to it or something.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, how are things going for you out in Westburn? You, if I remember, you've got a bit of a farm going there, right? So you've probably been pretty busy.
Yeah. Well, we've got years ago we bought some lakefront property, and in the last couple of years we've turned it into a campground called Backer Beach. Mm-hmm. And it's something I've always wanted to do, and we had the land, so it's been busy, and with the whole COVID thing, people could actually go sort of social distance and still enjoy the beauty that Manitoba has to offer, and have a few beers along the way.
Wonderful. Was that something you had set up before the pandemic started, or did it kind of all align? Oh, you did. Okay, cool.
We had some stuff, some camping before, and then we expanded last year, which was kind of nice to have some time off. I didn't really plan. We were going to do the expansion anyway, and then COVID hit, so I'm like, well, I guess I'm spending 8 months on a skid steer.
Well, I mean, that has to lead to my first question. I mean, you've been a musician now, and I by the way, I looked it up. I apologize if this shocks you. You guys have been together 25 years, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have to ask, the pandemic, that's that put a stop to live shows for a while, probably for really the first time in your life that you remember. What was that like? Did you find that a boon for your creativity, or as you say, were you kept busy with the campground?
Well, it was just weird. Like, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, we grow up playing, and we've always said that, if people download music for free, we can always go out and play live shows. Mm-hmm. So we're always good. And then that was taken away. So that was really weird. I think Dave, he's like, I'm not saying I'm not creative. I'm a very creative person, but Dave is sort of over the top creative. Mm-hmm. So I think this was a good time for Dave to really, focus on what we've done. And we both did that. We sat down and focused on what Doc Walker's accomplished and what we've done over the past 20 years, and really tried to make a plan for the future. And, we recorded the new single, She Wants What She Wants, before the pandemic actually hit. So we got to hang out with the band in the studio, which is a big deal for us. We like that, sort of natural feeling in the studio, because I always feel that translates after. But then we had about a year and a half to make it exactly how we wanted it.
Wonderful. Chris Thorsteinson from Doc Walker joining me on Moose FM. Did you find then, like, have you guys written tons of songs, or has Dave got lots of songs in the hopper maybe for a future album then that you're maybe planning on doing?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've had a lot of songs, but I think it came in spurts, really. Like, as a musician, you're either writing or you're touring or you're planning for another tour, or you're planning for another album. This was really a chance for Dave and I to shut everything off for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think it helped, and it's been a long time, been 20 years. And in the last month when we've been playing some shows, I've really noticed with the band and even other artists, fellow Canadian artists that we've played with, there's a new sense of excitement and looking towards the future. And anytime that there's a major shift in society, whether, it was after the Second World War when Elvis came out, or during the 60s and the Beatles, usually in times of turmoil and strange things happening, there's great music comes out of it. So I think it's a good opportunity for artists to embrace that and write about what they feel and try to help people get through this.
Certainly a way to make lemons out of lemonade, I suppose.
Yeah.
Was it, I have to ask, when the pandemic first hit, I mean, we're all like, oh, this is horrible and kind of a hard time to be alive and whatnot. Did you see it as a kind of, because your music career stopped and halted for a bit, were you sort of like, oh, like, okay, I'll make the best of this? Or were you immediately like, well, damn it. I had plans and they've all been canceled for the moment. What am I going to do now? What
Well,
was kind of your immediate reaction?
well, fear pretty much, because I mean, I've got a family, got three kids,
Yeah.
and it's our livelihood, so that obviously goes through your head, but it's just more the safety and what's going on. We did have some small town touring that we were going to do in March and April that all got canceled, which is unfortunate because we love going to those smaller communities, and just Dave and I do acoustic shows there. But so it's not like we had a whole bunch of stuff on the books, like a major Canadian tour that was put on hold. Like we just finished the Charlie Major and George Canyon tour, which was it was nice to sort of zip across Canada and see the fans, and then it gets shut down. But so I think it was just so many different emotions wrapped up in one. Like when's it going to end? How's it going to end? What's going to happen with live music? What's going to happen with my family? It was just really such a confusing time. But and I know that in this day and age now, that with the vax, not vax, mask, no mask, I mean, we've made it this far. I mean, really, we're getting close to the end. I think, we should just keep looking back at how much we've accomplished in the last year and a half, really, as a civilization, and be proud of ourselves and just keep trucking through this.
Now, it looks like you guys have started to return to playing shows. You were at the Stampede earlier this summer, I believe. It looks like you're going to be at a music festival in Dauphin, Manitoba, coming up very soon. You just announced that. What's that been like, getting back in front of an audience? Were you really nervous? Was it like riding a bike? How did that go for you?
Well, it wasn't really nervous. It was excitement. The first show we did was in just north of Grand Prairie, the TP Creek Rodeo. And I mean, we were still in lockdown in Manitoba, basically. So when we went and played there, it was just like nothing was happening. I walked into A&W and wearing a mask, and nobody was wearing masks. I think they all thought I had COVID or something. But so it was just weird. And then, we played Stampede, and then we went out to the East Coast, played a show out there. We played a few reserves around Manitoba for the Truth and Reconciliation, and it was and the Manitoba 150. So it actually got quite busy for about a month and a half, and it was nice. We've done it our whole life, so to have that sort of taken away, it was just really refreshing to get back in front of the fans.
Okay. Well, as you said at the start, and we said you've got a brand new single out, She Wants What She Wants. You said you had written this before the pandemic, and then you were able to take the time to really perfect it to be exactly the way you wanted with the time. Can you tell us a bit about the song? What inspired this? What happened, if anything happened?
Well, it was kind of a weird story. It was obviously before the pandemic. It was in the winter. I was sitting in a studio I have in the basement, and I'd got this new guitar processor, and it has all these crazy guitar patches, and there was one called 80s Guitar Sound, and I'm a huge 80s fan of country, like the old Dan Seals, Restless Heart. So I plugged my guitar into it, and I just loved the sound of it. It just took me back. It was like a time machine. So I started writing some melodies, and then I started coming up with some lyrics about a girl who, was in a bad situation, and it got me thinking about my daughter. She was 9 at the time. And it kind of hit me that someday she's going to have a broken heart. And I mean, it's life. There's nothing you can do about it, even as a father. You just kind of got to sit back. But it kind of made me think, maybe I should just really try to raise her to be as strong-willed and respect herself. And that's where the story kind of evolved. And then I sent the chorus to Dave. And of course, Dave, being the lyrical genius he sent it back with these great verses and a great story, and that's when we really started to get excited about the song. The fact that a lot of Doc Walker stuff over the years is lyrically pushed the envelope a little bit, and it's always been very story-like, so we were really excited about this.
Excellent. Well, I'm very excited to play it right in just a second here. Chris, it was very lovely to talk to you. I'm very excited to hear about and be able to talk about the next time you come to Fort St. John. Hopefully it won't be too long from now. But Chris, thanks for taking a few minutes with us.
quick story about Fort St. John.
Oh, sure.
Got, which tattoo? Yeah, I got, what tattoo was it here? I got this tattoo fixed up.
Oh, yeah.
In Fort St. John on the Paul Brandt tour, and I bought a Fender Telecaster all before lunch one morning. So it was a good day.
You're always happy to be in Fort St. John. Excellent. All right, Chris. Well, thanks for joining us. It's Chris Thorstein from Doc Walker. We're going to play their new single now. It's called She Wants What She Wants right here on The Moose.